Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PIPCAST 3000. My name is Caedo Genesis. I'm joined by my co-host, BADCompanySarge.
Hello there.
And this is a bi-weekly podcast where we talk about gaming news and happenings and stuff like that. And also usually have a dedicated Bethesda-centric topic. This time, the topic is related to... 76. Because it happened to have a little update, and you may see some B-roll of it, as well as us talking about it quite a bit. So this will be a 76 episode that we haven't really talked about it in a while, I would say. How long do you think it's been, Sarge?
Oh, at least a week.
At least a week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're going about today. If 76 burned you at the very beginning and you're just like, nah, 76 is bad, I don't want to play it anymore, we might make a slight effort to try to convince you otherwise, because Wastelanders happen and then other things happen that made it kind of good. I take a risk just by saying that, but we'll get into that later. I want to say thank you to my Wasteland Legends, Sven and Rose, as well as the rest of my patrons who are supporting my channel and keeping things going here. And yeah, let's just get started, Sarge. Let's just get her going. What is the comment of the cast that we pulled from last episode?
Alexander Josephson, I think.
Josephson or Josephson? I don't know.
We're not sure. We're also not sure when it comes to the comment, because they say, well, that's why I don't get how anybody likes New Vegas. What's why? That's the entire comment. And we were both not sure what Alexander here was actually referring to.
And
so,
yeah, I was going to say, the topic that we had last episode was just kind of poking fun at the quote definitive list that TheGamer put together of the best Fallout game, or the Fallout games ranked, and yeah, of course number one was New Vegas. Spoilers, inevitably. Number one was New Vegas, to the surprise of no one. So yeah, why you don't get how anybody likes New Vegas? Does that mean TheGamer is definitively incorrect? And if so, which is your favorite number one game? I don't know. This comment, I feel like, needed more context. So if you're still listening to the podcast, please give more context, and we may do a follow-up along with a different comment of the cast next episode. So yeah, thank you for the comment, regardless, even if we're confused. In the gaming news, let's move on to the gaming news stuff. I feel like a newscaster kind of guy today. I don't know why. Man, I'm trying to cover up my rage. Maybe.
Well, it's a good job we've got so many news stories.
Yep, so many. A record low of news stories, actually. Yep. Alpha Protocol, which is the Obsidian spy RPG that had been delisted for quite a while due to licensing reasons, is now relisted on GOG. You can get Alpha Protocol on your PC from GOG. This is one of those weird cult hit kind of games where the game itself, I wouldn't call it good.
Okay.
But Obsidian did some really interesting and cool things within this not quite good game.
Yeah.
I played it on the PS3. I do not recommend it.
Okay.
The frame rate cannot keep up with the game on PS3. And that was largely what painted my feelings on the game, even though a lot of the like RPG systems and choice-based stuff was pretty cool. So anyway, I don't think it's particularly expensive, and if you want to add to your Obsidian catalog, aside from just, New Vegas, number one Fallout game, I don't know, give Alpha Protocol a shot. It's $18 on GOG right now, as of recording. So Yeah, or just go to mom and pop shop and get a Xbox version if you want or something. But yeah, anyway, speaking of games you can get, right, Sarge?
Yes. Yeah, there's other games that exist as well, and sometimes they're free.
Yeah, we like free games.
So, starting... Wait, is it starting now or starting next week?
I'm pretty sure it's next week.
Okay. There's going to be The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition, and also Thief, the modern one. One sec, let me double check. This
Eidos
looks like the modern one.
Montreal's. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's the modern one.
yeah, it's one. Well, modern came out almost 10 years ago.
Right.
Actually, over 10 years ago now.
Modern to our elder brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 4th through 11th is when these are going to be out and free on Epic.
Yeah. So if you're interested in either of those,
Yeah,
you can get them.
yeah. It's still kind of funny to me. I mean, this is two things that are kind of at Obsidian's expense, I just realized, but like Spacer's Choice Edition, like internally I'm like, it did so poorly, they are just trying to give it away.
This is the second time they're giving it away in the space of about 3 months as well.
Yep. I don't know, it might be good now, but
I mean, here's the thing, Spacer's Choice isn't bad. It had a bad launch, and it was kind of a pointless, like, remaster of a game that came out like a year or two beforehand. Like, it was completely unnecessary, which is the biggest thing against it. And then when it came out, it had, like, some issues at launch, which they had to patch, which just... When you're already making a game that doesn't, or making a remaster that doesn't need to be made, and then it doesn't have a good launch, that's never going to be good. But I kind of wonder. The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice, and it's fine.
I kind of wonder if it's like a combination, like cleaning up some aspects of the game as well as making it the like all DLC included kind of package, and like maybe that the all DLC thing was like their initial plan or something. And then they decided to do some extra, fancy stuff with it, which ended up kind of making things worse. So, I don't know. At least it works now for broadly. So,
and if you have wanted to play The Outer Worlds but haven't picked it up and you're on PC, then you can just get it and you don't have to pay anything.
And I remember Sarge saying that it's worth at least one playthrough.
Yes.
At least
possibly
one.
Two.
Possibly
but I can't say that for certain. Yeah, it's really good for a single playthrough. My big problem is that the start of a game always ends up being very samey. So if, like me, you've played through it several times because you've decided to do builds and stuff, it's, the whole Edgewater and dealing with that entire planet, honestly, is just dull. It's interesting like once or twice, and then no.
It's like if Good Springs was stretched out and you can't leave.
Yeah.
I think that's a good description of the Edgewater area.
And your choices in that place are do the same quest and then at the end just pick which side.
Yeah.
In the most binary way possible, which I'm not a fan of. I think I dislike those basic binary choices more than just linear, because it's like pretending that you've got tons of player agency, but you're still doing the exact same thing. At least give me like a slightly different quest. Hell, I'm gonna say even Skyrim's Civil War quest line. At least you go to different locations.
Is there a situation where you can just steal it and leave, like steal the power core and leave?
I think so.
Okay.
Probably.
Because if that's the case, then it's not entirely a binary choice. It's that everybody's screwed. So
it's fair. You can go you can just kill everyone.
Yeah.
So
there are a few other chaotic options, but yeah. Also playing dumb character, very fun in the beginning area of the game.
I mean, I played a dumb character.
But again, single playthrough, after multiple times, or once it's
Yeah.
multiple times, it does drag on a little bit.
But if you've not played it, I would definitely recommend it. If you have played it, I then wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a weird game.
There you go. Or try the DLCs if you hadn't had a chance, because they are pretty decent.
I do have them now. I still haven't played them, but one day I might.
Murder on Eridanos was a lot of fun. That was actually my inspiration for the tick that my D&D character had.
Uh-huh.
The whole tasting things part.
Yeah.
Because, the Murder on Eridanos thing, you're investigating a murder, and you can put all the evidence in your mouth while you're doing. It's so funny. Anyway, something else that's... Sarge, help me.
Help you? Something else that's funny?
Something else that's funny is Caedo needing Sarge's help to segue into this.
Okay, so our next article reads, Starfield's lead quest designer had absolutely no time and had to hit the panic button so the game would have a satisfying final quest.
Yep.
And Caedo was just like, oh, something that's so funny. That is like not the segue I need.
The opposite of funny, I know.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm sorry everyone, I can't segue this. My powers are limited.
That's why I did the meta thing.
Yeah, Will Shen, who was lead quest designer at Bethesda, now is at Something Wicked Games, the studio whose name I always forget, which is annoying.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's working with the other person who I can't remember people's names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a few ex-Bethesda people at Something Wicked Games now, and I'm looking forward to when their stuff actually comes out in like 5 years' time or whatever. Games take so long to make. But yeah, there's a little article, and Wilsham, basically, the TLDR of it is they didn't really have a final area for the end of a game. They were struggling with rounding the game off, so they just kind of had to panic, which did in some ways seem to lead to the New Game Plus sort of option, which is like the interesting, innovative part, but also led to just, okay, there's just one big planet at the end where you fight through waves of enemies, which is the not so good part of the ending.
But there are interesting things that came out of this too, is returning to like places that you've been to through the main quest, seemingly in different dimensions or different universes almost, or like weird representations of those characters, like maybe them being Starborn or something like that. I don't know. It was kind of cool though, I will say that. And we got an actual boss fight, which, not many Bethesda games put effort into the boss fights like Starfield did. Maybe I shouldn't spoil too much. The actual boss fight. It's weird. It's cool.
Yep. It did some interesting things with it.
Yeah. I also get a little bummed out because Will Shen left at the very end of Starfield's development. And I think he was responsible for some of the very cool things that Starfield had, or at least him and his team. So that makes me worry for Starfield in general. When
Shattered Space will be amazing.
Okay. Sure will, Sarge. I believe.
Yeah. There is also, on top of just the whole, we had to rush for this, Will, in this little conversation, talks about the problem of Bethesda Studios is now really, really big. Mm-hmm. Saying that more than 500 people worked on Starfield.
Yup.
Whereas Skyrim was about 100, 150 Fallout 4, over 350 for Fallout 76, and then more than 500 for Starfield, which is not just Bethesda game studios, but like other studios as well. They list Machine Games, Nobody Studios, Arcane, Snowden, and The Forge Interactive. And he says in a quote here, "It's more difficult than ever to know who does what, who you're supposed to report to. Every department is scrambling for resources and saying no to collaboration requests, leading to inadvertent consequence of favouring the department over the needs of a game." Where basically, there's a too many cooks situation where everyone's involved, but trying to get people to team up is difficult when you're dealing with literal hundreds of people rather than a few people.
And and communication gets lost because you're playing telephone.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get something done. So, and I mean, I'm glad you mentioned it because I had almost forgot that was kind of the primary reason I picked this article to begin with. Because that is a problem, especially the amount of time I've personally spent with Starfield. You can kind of tell when stuff was not being communicated between team members effectively. I have personally been looking through and doing my research on magazine locations, how they work, how they're shown, the items themselves, like pretty much everything. I'm losing my mind learning about how magazines function, all that kind of stuff, because all of it has some level of inconsistency from like set to set of magazines. And there was thankfully one little ray of hope that I got was that one of the magazines, I think it was only one of the magazines, was actually in a spot that wasn't that you couldn't get to because there was a box sitting on top of it on a shelf. Like a level designer just thought it was like, probably just thought it was like clutter and just put more clutter on top of it. And fortunately, some players reported it to the right people, either through like the Bethesda Discord or something like that, and actually got that box that was blocking the Tracker's Primer 04. When the game launched, it was unobtainable without console commands or some sort of like plate into solid object clipping thing. I'm sure you could do something like that in Starfield.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was unreachable until from what I can tell, the video I was using as a reference had it in its title. It was like fixed. And people in the comments were like, they patched this, and I'm like, oh god, thank goodness somebody's paying attention. Because the collectible magazines in particular were a point of concern for me, because it feels like they were just kind of thrown out to be items without consideration for some things. And there's still some wackiness with them for sure. But
yeah, it sounds like everything was incredibly complicated, because Wilshen even says in the little interview thing as well, asking for something as simple as a chair wasn't so simple. Do you need animations for it? Do you need sound effects for it? How much does that add to the schedule? Can it not fit because one of those teams does not have the time?
So that's at least 3 departments involved, and those departments aren't communicating with each other, right? So, or aren't communicating as well as they should, and are siloing as somebody posted or put down the bottom.
Yeah.
Sometimes you become totally focused on what's at hand, and then it just gets messy. It's messy. It sounds like. That does still make me concerned, because bloated team then losing some of its leadership. I don't know. Yep, don't know. I just hope maps happen for the cities.
Man, you really like your maps.
I sure do, Sarge. I was reminded of that when we played Fallout 76 Atlantic City together yesterday.
Yep. And Caedo was like, we need a map. Why is there not a map?
We didn't have one.
I was like, I'll just run forward. Get up there eventually.
When they said there was going to be a map expansion, which this still is, this is an expansion to the places we can go to, but there's no actual expansion to the map that we use.
To be clear, this isn't the southern part of the map.
No.
This is a different area you vertebra travel to.
Oh, right. No, they are going to do like a separate expansion of the Appalachia map too.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I guess that's what I was getting confused in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. But I will say, both Sarge and I have played the Atlantic City expansion a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What are your non-spoilery thoughts on
It
that?
seems fairly good.
Fairly good.
Like, yeah. So I think both of us weren't a big fan of expeditions because it's like a timed rush, do the mission in this new place.
Yeah.
Which means you can't explore, you can't really take in the atmosphere very much. It's just a big panicky situation.
Mm-hmm.
But this time you can just go to Atlantic City and hang out there and talk to the people and explore and take pretty pictures, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah, pretty pictures.
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
What I like about this one too is it does both too. Like these sections of Atlantic City, it's separated out into 3 sections, and you travel to them from the Appalachian map. You just go to the vertebrate icon and you're like, oh, I want to go to the city center, and then you're there. But you can choose to have it be explore mode or expedition mode. And when you're doing the quests introduce you to these locations anyway, the main quests for that area, which is cool. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I've also once again enjoyed the writing and the acting of the characters.
Yeah. We were both playing through at the same time, and there were several times Caedo was like, "Oh, writing's really good."
Yeah.
We're very happy about that.
Or like references that they make too. It's kind of just little fun ones. Like not something for hyper fixating on, but just a little haha. You're a Fallout player, huh? That kind of stuff. Yeah, it is kind of good. I feel like going through this, just like, Steel Dawn, Steel Rain stuff, like you can tell developers of 76 really love what they're doing.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels. That's what it feels like bleeding through the content that we get to play. Sarge did get a little further than me though. I just got up to like the turning point, but fortunately, just in case you're worried, the B-roll does not have any like major like twisty spoilers. It's just like introductions to the main players of the story.
You know what? I want to say that I really like that the like first few missions in this quest line don't really have anything I'd class as a major spoiler.
Yeah.
I think considering like we're on YouTube, so many YouTubers and stuff will stream like the start of new content or like make videos on the first couple of hours of the new stuff. It's quite nice to not have like big spoilers included in that. You have to be playing for like a few hours really to get to
the funny part was the funny part was like there's more spoilers in the trailer that we have linked in the description than there is on my footage.
That was a weird thing as well because Caedo had watched the trailer, I hadn't, so Caedo was being like, oh yeah, I know about that already when I was revealing stuff.
But yeah, overall, have been enjoying it so far, but I haven't finished the story stuff for Atlantic City, so
I will say we've both encountered a few bugs.
Yes,
where, like we've had to
leave
the place and come back for quest objectives,
and for
I had a complete crash at one point.
For newer players, I mean, I haven't played the previous story quest stuff, but that's mostly probably been ironed out. But yeah, there's some really annoying dialogue pauses that happen to the point of just not working until you exit and then come back into the game. So that is annoying because I had a moment where it's just like, okay, follow me into this room, and they just stand there. I think you had the exact same thing happen.
Yeah. I had one person who I had to follow and they were just standing perfectly still.
And I'm just like, man, my immersion, please. Immersion. Yeah. So that was troublesome and annoying, but I was noticing some more like quality of life stuff that they put in 76, like stat arrows when you're comparing weapon mods and stuff like that. Like it has like this is better than what you have on your weapon and stuff like that. Like I don't know when that was added, but that's cool. Yeah, it just feels like almost a little bit nostalgic going back to 76. We've played it. we've been in 76 and played long enough time ago where it's starting to hit that little nostalgia note for me. Kind of like Fallout 4 does occasionally now too.
Oh, man.
It's weird. It's really weird. It's weird being old.
Yeah.
You're getting up there in years too, Sarge.
No, I'm not. I'm still young.
Okay.
I'm super young. My back doesn't hurt all the time. It's fine.
Just you wait. Just you wait.
It's only most of the time. That means I'm young.
Yep. Just wait until one day you sit weird and your back's like, nope. Anyway, since this is a 76-centric episode, we have a topic. We're already at the topic.
Yep.
About 76, and it's also a combo because it's a TheGamer list-ish type thing of 16 tips for playing 76 solo. Yeah. And since Sarge's tips and tricks are so well known and well used at this point, I feel like we could have a little discussion about whether these tips are useful or not.
Yeah.
Or just, poke fun at the Gamer article because it's fun to do.
Yeah. It might be another good one. Let's see.
It might be.
Because entry number 16 is explore, explore, explore. The only surefire way to get stronger in Fallout 76 is to explore. Exploration is a critical element to open world games in general, but is arguably more important in a game that consistently pits you against other players. Most of these players have probably teamed up, immediately putting you at a disadvantage. Exploring Appalachia is one of the true highlights of Fallout 76, even when the game was riddled with bugs and technical issues back when it launched. As a solo player, the more you explore, the more you will be able to find coveted loot, fantastic outposts, and serviceable hiding spots for when the need arises. Get as familiar with Appalachia as you can, especially early on in the game. Has this person ever played 76?
This list must have come out not long after launch initially and then been edited without the editor realizing that the whole PvP aspect has changed.
Yeah, this was updated February 7th, 2024. So...
Yeah, this whole tip is kind of... The exploration part's great.
Yeah, you do want to explore. There's lots of cool places to find.
The pitting you against the other players thing, that doesn't happen. That's not a thing in 76 at all anymore.
Even at launch, that wasn't really a thing.
No.
Technically, with survival mode, it was a thing, but survival mode was pretty short-lived and not hugely popular.
And the Battle Royale mode, which also didn't last very long. Nuclear Winter.
The Battle Royale mode is not one where you want to explore.
No, because then you'll catch on fire and die.
Yeah. And the serviceable hiding spots as well is weird.
As if you're hiding from players, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really committing to that dealing with other players thing. It's like, the only situation where this happens is if you try to claim a public workshop.
Yeah, I mean, they do say fantastic outposts, and part of me is like, by outposts, are they talking about workshops? But that doesn't fit with how it reads, so...
Yeah, and for the most part, players often don't care about them, really.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, maybe this bug got fixed, but I have had a bug in the past where it showed on my map that it was unclaimed, but it was claimed by someone, and they came in and killed me. And then they swore at me because I claimed their workshop and I didn't realize it was theirs. So, I don't know. Maybe that got fixed. Maybe it didn't. I just, if you don't want a PvP, you really don't have to. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Not only is there a pacifist mode you can turn on, which I think is always on by default with people, but you don't really need to claim workshops. There are sometimes like dailies and stuff to claim workshops, but you can just claim them, leave, and you're probably going to be fine. Even if you die, just make sure you don't have junk on you. That's not a big deal. Like, yeah. This This is technically a good overall thing of exploring, but reading through it really makes me think that this person has no idea what 76 is like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, consistently pits you against other players is a phrase that really doesn't work in this game, which has one of the nicest communities I've ever met in gaming.
Yeah. Maybe, perhaps, this person was confusing Fallout 76 with Rust. Because that consistently pits you against other players and encourages trolling to the highest degree. So
yeah, the hiding spots, the outposts, finding coveted loot. But maybe they did play Rust instead and just didn't realise. You might be onto something here. If tip 15 has a picture of Rust instead, we know.
Yeah. Okay, well, it doesn't. Tip 15 is find the best weapons for your preferred playstyle. How are you going to spend your time playing Fallout 76? Are you going to focus on stealth, moving in silently to take down unsuspecting mutants or foes? No matter how you choose to play, you will need to get to grips with the various guns and plethora of weapon mods in and around Appalachia. Solo players lack what teamed-up players have, namely a diversity of skills and weapons. As soon as you start having the option to utilize various weapons, find at least 2 or 3 that you feel confident with. You are a much more formidable lone wolf if you have your go-to weapons from the start. What?
I mean, this is another one where, like, in general, yeah, you want to use weapons that are good for you. But this is also a case of this person hasn't played 76. And do you notice their image right there? That's me.
That's Sarge? That's you?
That is me.
Oh
that is
my
Fixer
God.
video.
Oh my goodness. This has got way more interesting.
On the gamer list.
I'm so proud of you.
That's how I used to dress all the time.
I'm so proud of you, Sarge.
I wonder if does it give me any information when I click on the thing? No, it doesn't. But yeah,
search image
that is
on
fully
Google.
An image of me.
Takes me to a bunch of Nexus mods things. Man,
Yeah,
Google Lens. Google Lens sucks.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I can probably show you the exact video because I'm pretty sure I know it's my. I think it's my How to Craft the Fixer video. I think it's the start of that. Oh, there's an advert. Well, at least I know the video is still monetized. Just check. Oh, Caedo.
Sarge Fixer. What?
I'm gonna send it to you. It's almost the first frame of my How to Craft the Fixer video.
Oh my God. Sarge, you made it. You made it big. The gamer noticed you.
I'm on a gamer list, everyone. I mean, it is like my 3rd most viewed video. Because at the time I made it, the Fixer was not a popular weapon.
Yeah.
But I made that video, and then everyone was like, oh damn, this weapon's good. So I had an effect on Fallout, everyone.
That's funny because
I made a weapon popular.
They may have pulled some tips from your tips guide.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, so far, they're very lacking on their end.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
How to Craft the Fixer video from BADCompanySarge is also number 15. This is really funny that it's your Fixer video, which is a stealth-focused rifle.
Yeah.
And the question is, are you going to focus on stealth, moving in silently to take down unsuspecting mutants or foes, and no other examples?
Yep.
Are you just gonna stealth? Are you gonna stealth,
I feel like
man?
they have just watched my video, and that's it.
Yeah.
And my video as well tells you how to obtain this weapon specifically. Doesn't talk about legendaries or stuff, because at the time as well you couldn't get legendary fixes, I don't think. And yeah, they haven't mentioned that finding the best weapons for your preferred playstyle is almost entirely RNG based.
Yeah.
You just gotta hope you get a real good legendary. There is legendary crafting now, but especially if you're someone reading a tips for playing alone in single player, you probably aren't at the stage of doing legendary crafting. They also don't mention levels of weapons, because early on, you're just going to get rid of it.
I was going to say, they don't mention levels of weapons, but also they don't mention types of weapons, which is kind of important.
Yep.
I think as a creator of guides myself, I'm tooting my own horn right now, but knowing your options, going in, being like, oh, you can get a chainsaw, I didn't know that. Or
Yeah.
if you want to punch stuff, what are your options, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about any build in particular, of course, except the one that I like to play all the time. But yeah, it's good to know your options, and also what would be our tip, Sarge, for something like this, especially playing solo early on, for example.
It would be miles longer than this, because if you're talking about finding the best weapons, I talk about like finding weapon plans, scrapping down weapons as you find them, getting used to just ditching weapons in the early levels, because until you're like level 50, you're not going to be sticking with weapons for that long. Like, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff to talk about on this point.
Yeah. What about like, say you're carrying around three weapon types. What would be your recommendations?
My recommendation would be to carry around one weapon type and have the perks for that.
Yeah, but okay.
I don't get what you mean. You're clearly trying to say something different.
I don't know. I was kind of leaning towards the, have a melee weapon on hand, especially when you're starting out, so you save ammo. But
yeah, okay, that is a good thing. That is something I have in my
something
beginner's guide.
along those lines. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, having a melee weapon is good early on, but learning to just pick up and try different weapons.
Yeah.
Like, I think the best part of finding the best weapon for your preferred playstyle is to just try a bunch of different weapons.
Yeah. And yeah, don't go off of, unless it's the hunting rifle, don't go off of what you know from Fallout 4, because there's so much different stuff in 76.
Yeah.
At this point.
76 is also more of a DPS game rather than a damage game.
That's true too. Yeah. Damage fall off, yay.
No.
Sarge's favorite thing from 76.
Yeah. I'll scroll down to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to read it. Master your environment. Following the exploration and weapon choice tips, it's important to understand that Fallout 76 single player is a test of your situational awareness. Combat opportunities can surface at any moment, so you need to know how you'll respond. If you're stepping into a dark tunnel or abandoned building with small rooms, it would suit you to have a melee weapon at the ready so you are prepared to fight in close quarters at a moment's notice. When you find yourself roaming the tree-lined forests, a sniper rifle or a silenced automatic weapon could help you deal with a dangerous pack of enemies from a distance without giving away your location. Okay, this is kind of what you were talking about. My big groany thing is they've got an image from Fallout 4.
I noticed that immediately as well, because that...
that's the hotel place in Far Harbor that's filled with super mutants.
I knew it based off of the armor that the person's wearing, because it's got the Children of Adam paint on it.
Yeah, the Zealot's armor.
Yeah.
And the fancy helmet thing. Yeah, it's...
the marine armor, that's what it's called, the marine armor.
Marine armor, that's the base name of it. Yeah, that's... I find it quite funny that the Master Your Environment photo is an environment that isn't in the game.
Yeah.
They've already not mastered the environment here. Overall, though, that tip is fine. That's basically what Caedo was saying beforehand. Like, having a variety of weapons, which I then disagreed with, but early on, when you don't have the damage perks, a variety of weapons can be helpful.
Yeah.
Once you start getting higher level, you do want to choose what weapon type you're going for.
I mean, even so, I have like separate builds, obviously, like we talked about earlier, that like I have a ranged build and I have a punchy build, but even though I have those, I do have weapons I switch in between, like depending on what we're doing. Whereas I have the fist as my first weapon, and then I have the flamer plasma rifle as my second, and then a mid to long range rifle as my third.
I just have a really good automatic fixer because the fixer's great.
Yes, and if you have a fixer, just use that.
Yep.
Or fixer and shotgun, something like that.
Nah, don't need a shotgun. You got that. Close range, you just hit all your shots.
Oh, okay.
It's got an auto aim function. It's great.
That is true. That is true too. I don't use VATS enough.
I mean, it's really good in close range with automatic weapons in 76. You just fill your crit bar like instantly.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. What is number 13? Pacifist mode? Turning on pacifist mode in your options menu is a great place to start. Why didn't we start with this? Enabling pacifist mode disables your ability to damage other players. While this is helpful on a surface level, it goes a bit deeper. Players who still attack you regardless will find it more challenging to damage you significantly, and on top of that, are branded a murderer on the map. That has been taken out completely, by the way. Bounties are placed on these types of players who not only deter... This has all been removed. I'm not even going to read the rest. There's no real, like, opt-in... I don't think the opt-in thing even works anymore. Does it? Or so many players have pacifist activated that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, everyone has pacifist mode on. I also want to say that the little video image they've got looks familiar. I feel like this could be another one of mine.
You think so?
I'm not certain of it. It's literally just
this is the map with a shutdown imminent on it. Like,
yeah. I'm looking at the areas that have been explored, and this is very much like what I did as early routes quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that.
Not enough info.
No, there's not enough info, but
now you're hyper aware though. You're sleuthing.
Yeah, I mean, they literally put such a iconic burned into my brain image from one of my videos in there. So now I'm like, oh damn, I gotta pay attention, you know?
Yeah. This is funny.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next one?
You do have pacifist mode on though. I
Yeah.
think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have pacifist mode on.
If it's not by default, like, just turn it on. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Number 12, avoid other players.
I hate
This may seem
people.
obvious, but it is crucial to surviving the Fallout 76 player experience. Utilizing the map, you can see every individual player on the same server. Other players are represented by small dots, revealing their usernames and levels. For some, never seeing another player may be preferred, as their usual immersion relies on them being the lone wanderer. Utilizing the map may not always be a perfect answer for avoiding the potential dangers of other players. Still, it will improve your odds and get you used to using the map, something crucial for this style of game regardless of playstyle. They really don't understand that players are not a danger.
That, and also their markers disappear when they stealth.
Yep.
I think that's still a thing, even though it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's this person does not know what 76 is like.
No.
At all.
This person / people who edited the information didn't fact check in their own brain, and maybe also didn't play 76 recently. Yeah. This you can, if you see another player, walk the other way,
or wave to them,
they might give you stuff.
They say that avoiding other players is crucial to surviving the Fallout 76 single player experience.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
But, yeah. Other players will probably give you stuff.
Yeah.
When you see a high level player coming towards you, they're probably going to drop you a fixer. Let's be real.
Yeah.
This is going to be like, oh, you're low level. Have a good gun.
Still related to like playing alone single player. So like if you have a hard line on that rule for yourself, yeah, I guess like if they drop you something, just don't pick it up or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you can avoid other players if you want to, but it's definitely not crucial.
But I would say this is painting other players as bad actors all the time, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 players are indeed, like Sarge said, some of the nicest players in online games.
Yeah. It's crazy because normally I hate gaming communities. They can so easily turn sour.
Yeah.
But 76 is overwhelmingly filled with people who just want to have fun and help each other.
Yeah. And again, in case there's any confusion, this is not Rust. This is 76.
I just need to say that like every few entries.
I think the dead giveaway should have been, you're not completely naked when you take your jumpsuit off. But I don't know. 11. Avoid public events. Public events don't evoke playing alone. Public events are meant for multiplayer parties to participate in and involve several other players converging to one spot at once. You may want to give it a shot regardless, simply due to the rewards. Public events offer good loot and experience points. Single-player savants may be willing to forego their immersion if in need, so it's worth knowing that these events are usually relatively entertaining. However, those committed to going the solo route all the way through should avoid them. Fair?
Yeah, this one at least acknowledges that this is more of a trying to play without other people around rather than acting like they're gonna kill you and it's all gonna go terribly.
Yeah. Dead set on playing solo, yeah, you probably want to avoid these because players will probably show up, especially depending on, I mean, the one they're showing back on the beat. I feel like there's usually players going for that one, right?
Yeah, back on the beat normally gets people. This is at the end of it as well, which, yeah.
Guy just on the ground dying.
Yep. It's nice. We can see their names though, and we can see that's none of us.
Yeah. And there's the bigger, like, public events, like the Queen Nuke thing too.
Yep.
That the main story like has an objective that like requires you to do that at least once, right?
Oh yeah, that's like the
nuke.
end of the main basic story.
Yeah. So, but that's the only one that comes to mind that there's like forced player interaction, and that's just you teaming up with everybody on the server to take down a queen. Like,
I mean, I feel like we need to point out as well that this teaming up is just being around other players.
yeah, it's not joining a team specifically.
Yeah, this article very much seems to be the stick your fingers in your ear and say la 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 and pretend no one else is in the world.
Yeah.
Rather than how do you do well without needing teammates or needing to get help for anyone.
I don't want to. I'm hoping I'm not spoiling the rest of the list too, but you can turn off voice chat in the game too completely. By the way,
I've got it turned off. Yeah, it's you don't need to interact with other people.
No.
But if you are trying to play this as like a single player game, it is not a single player game. Which I think this person, first of all, hasn't played 76, or these people haven't played 76, and then are also trying to turn it into a single player game when it is technically a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Rather than doing the sensible thing.
You can set solo rules like this though, like up till a point. But then once, especially once you hit the gear, like the gear chase part, like the Earl stuff and the Queen stuff, like that's just doing a bunch of events with people. Anyway, number 10. Is it mine? It's my turn, right?
Maybe? I've forgotten. Go ahead.
Okay. Strength 10. Strength build to start. Melee and shotguns. Investing in melee skill early on almost guarantees that you will do reasonably significant damage right away. And always having a weapon at the ready is smart. Melee weapons are a dime a dozen in these wastes, and ammo crunching simply doesn't apply to them. On top of always having a melee weapon, investing in shotguns makes you prone to doing considerable damage early on in more ways than one. Also, if aiming is a pain, shotguns could be the way to go, regardless. Who doesn't enjoy a good shotgun? Tip: if you want to be extra economical, a bloodied build will allow you to focus on staying at low health to reduce the cost of healing items and chems you may need. What?
That's a weird tip that they throw in at the end.
To reduce the cost of healing items and chems you may need, but you'll die.
Yeah, you'll die constantly.
Missing that part. You'll die a lot. Jesus. Okay. All right. So, just a little tidbit of... It says strength build to start, but it doesn't say anything about perks.
No.
It just says melee weapons. So what they're trying to go for is like just use melee weapons, because like early on you don't even need the gladiator perks, which are the ones on screen that they should have said something about. And I think shotguns like at level when you're grinding up like the first 20 levels and stuff like that, like you don't need to really, I don't think you need to really build for them anyway for them to be effective. Even though the one wasteland thing happened, like you'll still do a substantial enough amount of damage to not make it monotonous. At least if I remember correctly. I don't know. Are you getting any red flags in that statement that I just said, Sarge?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Good. I don't feel dumb.
I will say one thing they've missed out on talking about is carry weight, which is weird considering the image they show has Pack Rat.
Yeah, that's
as
true.
the highlighted perk, and a big advantage of going a strength build is having more carry weight.
Yeah, the better thing to say here would have been strength build to start, carry more stuff.
Yeah, especially because at the start you probably won't know what stuff you want to pick up and what stuff you want to leave.
And it's, yeah, maybe they'll get into that later, but it's a game where you can't just pick up everything unless you have Fallout first.
Mm-hmm. Alright, on to the next tip. Number 9, follow the main quest for a while. Sticking to the main quest and related side quests for a moderate amount of time guarantees that you will understand your place in the world, the fun new lore, and several basics revolving around this unconventional Fallout title. Following this line of quests also assists with acquiring workbench plans early on. It is worth noting that rewards do scale to your level. Taking that as it is, having rewards scaled proves both valuable and troubling. Following other quest lines will give you similar loot and rewards, but won't offer the benefits of learning the plans mentioned above, though the rewards will be way more fruitful the higher your level. So finding a balance between reward scaling and learning the basics while completing the main quests can prove very useful. That felt like a real word soup on the scaling side of things.
It's like half of this is a nothing tip.
Yeah.
It's like
I do agree that sticking to the main quest, and they mentioned the plans you get, which are helpful.
Yeah.
That's the good part. They did then, on the follow the main quest, say related side quests and have a picture of Wayward Souls, which is like a... I suppose it depends what you're classing as main quests and whatever, but I'm pretty sure Wayward Souls is like a side quest.
No, because that's where you get the new tutorial for making your camp. Is the Wayward. From the Ghoul.
Yeah, I thought it was under the side category, but it could be under the main category. But yeah, Fallout 76 has multiple main quest lines now.
Yep.
Which is something they've not mentioned here as well. Because the way they're talking about it sounds like the, Scorch Plague main quest thing, which is where you do get several plans for like chemistry workbench, armorer's workbench, like all the basic stuff you need. You get those early on. But some of the main quests, like if you did the Brotherhood of Steel main quests early on, you'd get really weird plans and probably have a really hard time. So that's something I feel like would have been much more useful than weirdly talking about reward scaling in a way that says, like, maybe you should worry about it, or maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah. Doesn't the Brotherhood quests have, like, level requirements to them?
I think... Is it... I can't remember exactly. In my brain, I'm like, oh, once you hit a certain level, you get told about it. I think that's what happened, but also you might just be able to show up there anyway and pick up the quest.
Bethesda support says your character must be at least level 20 to start Steel Dawn.
Oh, okay.
So, that's
I mean, you
good.
do now exit the vault at level 20, or have the option to.
Ah, frick me. So you can just do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. I like that there's like a no additional cost kind of thing. Like, man, I don't like that I'm saying that because I saw the freaking booster that they put on the scoreboard. And that was new to me. You can boost the score rate by 25% by spending 100 atoms. Freaking stupid. Like, there's aspects that are good and aspects that I hate. That's one of the aspects I hate. Anyway, how about number 8? Don't hoard. This time around, having more of a survival element means you won't carry as much or save everything you find. Most things that have been weightless in your inventory in past games now have some bulk to them. Yes, even bobby pins. Not anymore. More importantly, stocking up on every ammo type imaginable won't be ideal, so sticking to a few specific types you are using at the moment would be much more effective. On top of that, you can scavenge or craft other types if you come across a new shiny weapon that piques your interest. Yeah, bobby pins don't have weight anymore. They patched that pretty early, I want to say. Didn't they?
I mean, I can't remember. Like, I've not really paid attention. I assume they don't have weight now. Like, that feels right, because I carry around so many, but...
I don't go to them in the miscellaneous tab anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
we don't really know. But I think they're weightless.
Pretty sure. Stocking up on ammo, every ammo type imaginable won't be ideal. Yeah, that one's pretty clear too.
Yeah.
But then once you get the bandolier to max, like you won't even think about how much ammo you have.
That's what I do. Although now you very rarely see ammo that isn't for the weapon type you're using.
Also true, because enemies are set up to, and even like dungeon loot is set up to give you ammo that you are using in your current weapon. Yeah. Which is a great change for a game like this. When it happened. It was a while ago at this point, but it's still great.
Yeah, in the past we had to spend a lot of time crafting ammo and getting resources for it.
Yeah.
Like, all of my tagged for search options are ammo crafting things.
And probably all related to ultrasight ammo, right?
No, this is just for basic .45 ammo.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. There's also, like, ammo converters, which some camps have, but if you're playing solo, you're probably not going to go to player camps anyway, so... Just gonna make your own.
Okay. Number 7 is level up however you can. Yes, it's obvious. No, it's a confusing title. However, as a lone wanderer, you should target even higher levels than the enemies you encounter. After all, you won't have others to rely on, as the game assumes. Therefore, grinding before attempting anything significant may be beneficial. Admittedly, grinding may become an annoyance, but utilising this to experiment with other activities could also prove helpful. Doing nearly anything gives your character experience points. Cooking, discovering locations, building, and crafting are all extremely beneficial and rewarding experiences. As you approach essential segments in the main quest, you'll need to be at a relatively high level. You did a little groan, Caedo.
Yeah, this is before one Wasteland happened.
Yep, they're scaling on enemies.
Enemies scale to your level wherever you are in Fallout 76.
You can go higher level than them once you get like past level 100. I think level 100 is what enemies typically scale to, right?
I think so.
Just get to level 101 and then do the main quest.
Yeah.
Will only take you like a couple of months.
Just that easy. Make 7,000 chairs at your camp, and then you'll be the right level for the main quests. Quick and easy. Yeah. No other notes.
Nope. I mean, the level up thing could have talked about equipment levels here.
Yeah.
That would have been like the useful thing, and also getting like your build sorted out right.
Equipment caps at 50, but some caps at 45 still for whatever reason.
Yep. But no, instead they're just like, ignore one Wasteland. That never happened.
Yeah. Number 6. Down to number 6. Lone Wanderer perk. There is a perk in the Charisma skill tree called Lone Wanderer. Not only does this card's name revel in the single-player mindset, but this perk buffs your damage reduction and adds faster action point regen when traveling solo. This card is available exceptionally early too, so feel free to respec your cards if you missed it. It requires 4 points invested in Charisma, but those familiar with the special skill tree cards will know how it is very doable from the get-go. It is also pretty refreshing that this perk card exists, both with its familiar title and for accommodating this type of playstyle. More word soup.
Yeah.
In that last
Lone
bit.
Wanderer is a good tip for if you are playing entirely alone.
Yes.
Annoyingly, you do lose the advantage of being on a public team, but if you are going for the super, no one come near me, playstyle, then yeah, get Lone Wanderer,
Yep.
max it out, which does cost 4, although the initial rank only costs 2 points of charisma.
Yep. And it's on screen.
Yeah.
It's on the freaking image, and they said 4 points.
Yeah, which is correct for the maxed out one, but they're missing that bit of information, which is... Yeah. Like, even when they get it right, it's like, no, you kind of need to add a bit more here.
Like they were just referencing the wiki when they wrote this, but then found an image later.
Quite possibly.
That's my guess. Because they clearly didn't play it.
Nope. Hey, Lone Wanderer is a good thing for playing alone. That's a tip we can actually fully agree with.
And with the story content of the game, where you do go solo into various like dungeons and locations, like this is a great perk to have for that. Too. Like even if you do occasionally play with other people, I play the game with Sarge, but we were like in the same dungeons, but in separate instances because we were both doing our own story quests.
Yeah, but we were on a team.
Oh, we were on a team.
So Lone
You're
Wanderer
right.
wouldn't affect them.
Ah, frick.
Which, if there was anything I would add to this, it's like, do keep in mind that if you're on a team at all, even if you're wandering about on your own, the perk doesn't come into effect.
Yeah, whoops. Never mind.
That's the added clarity I'd put in. Number 5. Caedo, did you write this one? It's focus on food and explosives.
Maybe I did.
With weightless items becoming nearly non-existent, players need to pick and choose what to keep in their limited inventory. With ammo being reasonably hard to come by early on, focusing on food and explosives could prove very useful. With food, buffs stack and last at least 30 minutes each. Explosives could be what saves a solo player. They pack a punch, so if surrounded, laying down a bunch of mines or explosives of choice could be what keeps you alive. Wait for enemies to bunch up and send them flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm kind of curious about the food lasting 30 minutes, or at least 30 minutes each. I don't feel like that's true, but I can't disprove it right now.
There's some food items that last a long time, some that don't.
Yeah.
Saying all of them last 30 minutes is incorrect.
Okay. I was like, I'm certain there's got to be some food items which don't last very long.
Yeah. Some of them don't last very long, but
I mean,
this is
stacking the food buffs, I think, is a useful tip.
very, yeah.
Knowing that.
People, when they were, I can't remember like when players were raging about food builds. I think it was during like the survival mode stuff.
Yeah, it was around that sort
Like
of
people
time.
were getting super pissed at people like just chomping up like a bunch of different types of food and just destroying them.
Man, you are bringing me back to the comments of those days where because I wasn't playing Bloodied, people would be like, "Oh, you're a food build," and I'd be like, "What does
does
what's
that
a
mean?"
food build?" Yeah, and I was like, "No, I wasn't a food build. Yes, I did eat food occasionally, but yeah, that is probably the time I think where the game was at its most toxic."
Yeah. This is one of the Fallout games
real
where,
anger around that.
in fact, maybe the Fallout game where food is overpowered. Because you can have so many food buffs going on at once, alongside your mutations that you can get, which I hope they mention within the next 4.
Oh man. Yeah, they've not brought up mutations at all yet, have they? That's worrying.
It's one of the coolest systems in
explosives,
76.
though, they explosives, yeah.
Yeah, they said
you like
mines,
explosions.
though. They said mines.
Yeah.
Which you can only put like a maximum of 3 down before they start self-exploding.
Yeah, and they didn't mention that.
Nope.
And
did
they
not.
say laying down a bunch of mines. Which... I see that going real badly for some players.
I'm getting a kick out of the screenshot for this one, too, because it's definitely a modded UI.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because it shows what the item type
Categories.
is in parentheses before the item name, and that's definitely a mod. Anyway, number 4, Sarge.
Number 4's you.
Oh, is it me? It is me.
Yep.
That's right. I'm keeping track. Don't at me. Number 4, invest in luck. One special skill perk to invest in is luck. While it may seem odd compared to the others, you could reap some genuine benefits. Improving your luck and choosing the perks that enhance the number of items found dramatically increases your chances of staying stocked accordingly. The perk card Pharma grants 40% chance to find more chems when looting. Scrounger and Can Do the same thing for ammo and canned food, respectively. Luck is also just an all-around fun perk to invest in.
It's not a perk, it's special. Just need to get that in there
Actually, to be more specific, it's an attribute, Sarge. I'm sorry, I got to do that. Actually this episode.
Yeah, this feels like an odd one. Like, I don't disagree with it, but it's not something I'd be like, oh, this is what I should recommend to solo players.
I would recommend Pharma specifically, just because staying alive is good.
I mean, I feel like I always end up with more stim packs than I ever need.
Yeah. Or, I mean, well, yeah, Scrounger if you're doing a lot of gun. I don't use guns that much, so...
No.
And, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is, because, like, all... It seems like all the attributes and the perks related to them, like, are all spaced up very well, except for endurance. Like,
yeah, endurance does not have good
Once
perks.
you start building endurance, you'll be like, what did I do? What have I done?
Yep.
Because there's only so many that are actually useful in there. But the rest of them,
I feel like all the endurance perks just need their percentages doubled.
Yeah, something like that.
Because, yeah. It's like, oh, you're slightly more resistant to disease.
I think when the legendary resistance perks came out too, like that ended up making endurance worse instead of like complementing it. But yeah, luck is fun. It's all about, crits and finding stuff, so it's cool.
I've scrolled down to number 3.
What the crap, dude? Okay.
Number 3 is check out other people's camp shops. I'm not even going to read the main thing yet, but we were talking earlier about like, oh, okay, this list is for people who want to pretend no one else on the map exists. And now we're at the point of, yeah, go see the other people's places.
What do I say to this? You can't change the rules when you get to number 3 on your list, man.
Yeah, but they have. So they've put in the listing here, while other wastelanders won't always be helpful to you, the home camps or resource extractors might. Oftentimes, other people on the server will have a shop set up, selling items like ammo, blueprints, and weapon or armor with legendary effects. Why not use that capitalistic kindness to your benefit? By this point, you're well aware of how often you come across equipment and ammo. You could set up your camp store, selling items and equipment you gathered but don't need. It's a great way to help out fellow vault dwellers, potentially making yourself some extra caps in the process. Yeah, this is the complete antithesis of what it's going for.
Also, never put capitalistic and kindness next to each other. That's my critique of this whole section.
The image they've got is from one of the old Fallout 76 trailers from before the game was out.
Yeah, it's extra crunchy looking.
Yeah.
It's retro.
Yep. Yeah, this is... Like, it is a good thing to set up a camp shop and go visit other players' camps, but that's not really...
That's not solo.
No. Like... This article could either have been, hey, you're pretending no one else exists, or you just don't want to team up with others, but here's ways you can still play the game.
Mm-hmm.
But instead they've just mushed the two together, but not like hit the middle point between them or anything. They're just going with both of them differing on different entries.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, is...
Yeah. Also, like, if you're someone who is like really into immersion and stuff like that, there's some camps that do kind of fit the world. Like Sarge and I found one earlier, actually. It was a really nicely constructed, I think it was a prefab mostly with some cool parts connected to it. But other camps look not at all like they belong.
They're player made. There's going to be a huge range.
It's going to be variety.
Variety.
For sure. So, Yeah, unfortunately, you can see them on the map too. Like, and this is a tip, I guess, from me to people listening who care. You can see the big old markers on the map of camps, and you could just kind of wander around them if you need to, or just look the other way if it's particularly gaudy looking. Number 2. Oh man. Okay. Number 2, area too strong? Consider stealth, Sarge. I bet you didn't know this one. In a game world designed around groups, you'll inevitably encounter areas or challenges that are simply too powerful. And while going in guns blazing is a lot of fun, it's not a strategy that tends to last very long. When stuck between a rock and a hard mutant, there is only one thing left to do: hide. Using stealth effectively opens the door to a few life-saving mechanics. You can heal slowly from items like food and salve. You have enough time to change weapons and equip explosives, and you can deal sneak attack damage. We've launched nukes on our own using this method. It's a slow one, though. If your problem is time sensitive, this may not be the best approach.
Okay, I'm glad they put in a little kind of disclaimer of sorts at the end.
That's the most useful part, I think, of this thing. This bit.
I'd say stealth isn't particularly good.
And stealth is also not some weird unknown thing that players are blind to.
Yeah.
I think I think most players, especially playing a Bethesda game, know what stealth is.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I think if you hadn't played 76 but had played other Bethesda games, you would be disappointed by how ineffective stealth is compared to previous games of theirs.
Yeah. However, going back to 76 after playing Starfield, I like the stealth more in 76.
Oh, okay. I mean, is that just because stealth is not functioning properly in Starfield?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, they broke the stealth meter. I don't know what happened, man. Yeah. I'm still kind of upsetty spaghetti about it. I really hope it gets adjusted again.
You know what? This is actually one where I appreciate what they've written. Like, they've expanded on their title and given examples which are kind of helpful. Like, it may not be anything revolutionary, but I can give a small thumbs up.
Yeah. It's alright.
Yeah.
They were trying to be cute when they said when stuck between a rock and a hard mutant, but that just gives me weird images in my head that I don't want to think about.
I had to stifle my laugh when you were through that.
What's number 1?
Number 1, participate in nuke drops. Yes, we mentioned avoiding group events, but this is the exception. Whenever a nuke launch is announced, participate in the upcoming radioactive showdown. Suit up, either in a rad suit or power armor, and wait outside the blast range. When it drops, the area will be full of powerful creatures, many of them legendary. When defeated, they will drop weapons and armor with legendary effects. Even better is when this happens at the lair of the Scorchbeast Queen, the southeast corner of the map. The Queen herself is pretty hard to defeat, but if you and everyone else succeed in taking her down, the rewards are some of the best in the game. You don't need to kill them yourself, as long as you deal damage you are granted their loot. Go around, shoot everything you can, and hope that the larger teams will finish them off. Stay moving, heal up, and you should survive the massive battle. So this is a big old exception.
Huge exception. And it's number 1. Which is...
Yeah, if you're making this exception as well, you should do public events.
Yeah.
Just flat out.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I'd also argue that going to nuke zones solo, especially, is probably not that helpful a thing. Yes, there are some more legendary creatures there, but they're also, like, so much stronger. Everything gets stronger in a nuke zone, and you still find legendaries just randomly wandering about. And because there's not categories within the legendaries that you need to aim for, you're much better just coming across a random legendary Radroach than trying to defeat the super roided up legendary ghoul.
Yeah. by this point, I'm pretty sure they had the script machines too. Those weren't mentioned at all. If we're going off of the like Wastelanders timeline kind of thing, like that's when script machines, like before that, script machines were out, right?
I think so. It's hard to remember. But I mean, this article's all over the place with the time frame.
Yep.
Especially with the images. We've got stuff with after Wastelanders is out and also before the game is released.
Yeah. And also a screenshot from your video.
Yeah, screenshot from my video, which is quite a few years now.
Yeah.
But
so for that reason alone, that they appreciated Sarge's work and definitely didn't credit him at all, that this gets a PIPCAST seal of approval for being the gamer article that kept us guessing, and we made fun of plenty of it.
Yeah. It's man, it's still crazy that they just couldn't make their mind up about if solo play meant I'm avoiding everyone or if solo play meant I'm just not on a team. I feel like this is two different lists that just got smushed together.
It might be. That might be the case. Is there any tips for solo players that you think was glaringly missing?
Yeah, they should have told them to watch my beginner's guide.
That's very important. Yes.
Yep.
We can tell.
Genuinely, like, stuff in my beginner's guide is extra important if you're playing on your own because you don't have other people telling you. Like, different regions is the big part, I'd say. But you probably want to stick in the forest early on, and then knowing which areas of the map are the more dangerous ones. Like, that's not something they really went over.
Yeah. True. I don't know.
We've talked multiple times about, like, levels of equipment, which is something they should have talked about.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel like for solo players, you'd just be telling them a lot of the basics. There's not many like bits of advice that only apply to solo players and don't apply to people playing in a team.
Yeah. I don't know. Drop any legendary, either drop or recycle any legendary power armor pieces you get, unless you're doing a power armor build for some reason.
Yeah.
Because those will weigh you down pretty quick.
I genuinely think that the Lone Wanderer perk card might be the only tip that applies solely to solo players. Everything else is just like, this is something helpful to know.
I hate that I am gonna say it, but there was no mention of Fallout First.
Oh.
And if you want to be purely solo with no players around whatsoever in your world,
yeah,
you got to pay for it.
Yes, that is a thing you can do.
Yeah, and that's where's the term that I hated earlier? That's capitalistic kindness. Anyway, yeah, thanks TheGamer for having not so great tips and tricks for solo players in 76. And I would like to mention also that playing in 76 is not too bad, and also the content in this Fallout game in particular, especially the story content, is pretty freaking good. In comparison to a lot of games, even maybe some Fallout games. So give it a shot, especially if you had Game Pass. You got no reason not to, except being adamant about
size.
except being adamant about hating 76 too. Like that.
I was going for like actual reasons rather than emotional reasons. So I was like, it's a big file size game. You might not have the space. That's perfectly fair.
No, 76 sucks. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
One of the things we have been playing, Sarge, are you ready to move on to the what are we doing?
Yes.
Thing?
We've been playing 76. What else have we been playing?
I asked you first.
Oh. Dragon Age Inquisition. I made a video on it, about it. I made.
You just went full British for a second. I love that.
Oh, oh man.
Sorry.
I've already got people in my comments very angry at me for being British. It's. But I made probably my last games in 2024. Maybe my penultimate games in 2024 video. I'm probably going to do a Fallout 4 one.
Okay.
I'm waiting a couple of weeks to see if a remaster's going to launch with the show.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I've held off on playing Fallout 4 until after then. I figure like 2 weeks time, I'll boot it up regardless. Like even if it's not come out.
Dang.
But no, what I've actually been playing is Dragon Age Inquisition, which I made a little video on my Games in 2024 series. Do check it out if you haven't already.
Yes.
And I said in the video that I didn't actually enjoy my time with the game too much, but it's because I was playing on mouse and keyboard, and Dragon Age controls are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like on controller, they're kind of odd. On PC, it's a nightmare to control.
Sometimes games are designed around controller use.
Yeah. My arm was aching at the end of the recording session because I basically had to just hold down or click right mouse button all the time.
That's not fun.
Yeah, it was just like, it's such a minor thing, but do that for 2 hours straight and then it's like, oh god, this is pain.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, but I know the game is good. I've almost beat it before. And I was like, you know what, it's on Game Pass, I want to play it anyway, so I installed it on my Xbox. And I've been playing it on the Xbox,
there you go.
Which, obviously, with controller, and it's a lot better. I'm able to take my time with it, have a bit of fun. One annoying thing is, although in both cases I had this through Game Pass, on the PC, it's the Game of the Year edition, on the Xbox, it's the Standard edition.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
And I don't know why that is, but it's quite annoying because it means I just don't have any of the fancy DLC, which might be good. I don't really know anything about the DLC, but it'd be nice to be able to experience it, but I don't get to.
Dang.
Although in the video, I show off the armor sets in the DLC, and they're all wrong. Like, there's light, medium, and heavy armor. The heavy armor looks very light. It's basically like a bikini top and a skirt with some metal pauldrons. The light armor is heavy armor. It is literally just heavy armor. And the medium armor is body paint.
Oh.
Yeah, it's none of them match. And the end of the video is basically me just ranting about that a bit. But yeah, that's the game I've been playing, and basically nothing else.
Wow.
What have you been playing, Caedo?
Basically nothing else, Sarge?
Yeah, I've moved house. Or I'm in the process of moving house.
Yeah, that thing happened. That's true.
Yeah. My computer got set up yesterday, and I hadn't had my computer or my Xbox or anything set up till yesterday, which meant for almost all of this week there were no video games.
Right.
I was just moving things.
Yeah, but now you're kind of settled?
Probably after this recording, I'm probably going to move stuff. There's still like a journey or two left.
Oh, right, because you got to get stuff from your apartment.
Yep. And then I got to clean the flat out, and I got to hand over the keys, and then once that's all done, I'll actually be moved into a new place.
Nice.
And it'll be good. I can collapse for like a week.
There you go.
It'll be great.
Awesome. Well, to answer your question after a long bout of not answering it, the Starfield guide that I have been working on and hopefully will be finished by the time this goes up is the Nova Galactic Manual guide for the 10 Nova Galactic manuals in Starfield. I know these aren't getting much views at all, like well under 1,000 weeks after they've come out. I know this, but I'm still gonna follow through and make all of them because this is something I want to do. And I know Bethesda games are cyclical, and it'll come back around. And after I have all these done, combine them all into one super guide, people will watch it.
Yeah.
I am very confident.
Like, you're making videos that hopefully aren't going to go out of date at any point.
Yeah. If something goes horribly, like even
Cyberpunk style.
even the Cyberpunk unique weapons guide, like that still is. I'm pretty sure it's getting numbers. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, it's still 257 views in the last 48 hours. That's still pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But I mean, I guess the downside of Phantom Liberty is you can just go to a vendor and get iconics that you missed.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It really takes the wind out of everybody's sails, mine included. Because you're just like, I just, I want this now, and it's there. Instead of like having to explore to find it. I don't know. It kind of takes away a little bit, I think. But whatever. It's their game. They did stuff with it that was a bad decision than a good decision. So, whatever. CD Projekt Red. Meh. Anyway, yeah. The magazine's guides are coming along. Nova Galactic Manual is the last of the sets of 10. And then after that, I'll just have a bunch of sets of 5 to finish, which will hopefully be a lot more smooth because I won't be doing the ones that have half of them or 5 of them being in procedural locations, because quite a few of the 10 sets have 5 of them or half of them being in procedural points of interest, which is both easy and annoying, kind of equal parts. But that's what I will be working on, like, until, I get burnt out again. I've gotten rid of my mojo back for like commentating, so I'm actually having a bit more fun with the things I'm talking about, not just saying the thing and where it is. So you'll find some dumb Caedo jokes in there. Also, I hit 200,000 subscribers last week.
Oh, you actually hit it now. Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I knew that was around the corner, but I hadn't checked your channel in a little bit.
Yeah. I will say that subscriber count has kind of stopped mattering a long while ago. It's more about like the people that interact with my channel, the people that are watching my stuff, the people that actually care on my Discord and stuff like that. That's more of what matters to me, I think.
Yeah.
Is the community aspect. But I am grateful to at some point in the decade lifespan of my channel deemed it important to hit the subscribe button on the thing. And that's cool. I think the best part of this situation though was Kite, my sweetheart, behind my back, decided to contact some of my closest friends and have them record like a congratulations on 200K video. And Kite put it together with all of them and then showed it to me on my birthday.
Aww.
Which was very sweet. Like way too sweet. So that made me smile. Here's one last thing. I did play a lot of other games, but I also watched Resident Alien, which is a sci-fi original that has now been put on at least the US Netflix. And I have been needing something to get my mind off the stupid things that my mind thinks about. Also waiting on that therapy appointment still. So I watched Resident Alien, and it's I don't think I've laughed that hard at a sitcom in a while. That's something I recommend, I guess, is if you like goofy humor, an alien, a situation where an alien comes to Earth and tries to blend in, and the actor acting out an alien trying to human is some of the most incredible work I've seen someone do, because he nails it. So there's my recommendations. and
Okay.
things I've been doing. So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, Caedo. Anything else, Sarge?
Oh, it's Alan Tudyk. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah.
I had to Google Resident Alien because I've not heard of it before.
Alan,
now.
who? What's his name?
Why do you make me re-say his last name? Alan Tudyk. Tudyk.
Okay.
He's been in a ton of great stuff.
Yeah.
He's great. I'm a big fan of any performance he's in.
Yeah. He is great. So anyway, watch Resident Alien, and it's still going on Sci-Fi, by the way. Like the first 2 seasons are on Netflix, but the 3rd season is actively going. So, and that makes me happy. But anyway, thank you all for listening and watching, if you're watching the B-roll and stuff like that. And we will catch you in another 2 weeks for another PIPCAST 3000. Bi-weekly every other Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Thank you to my Wasteland legends Sven and Rose, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.